Hello, guys. Welcome to Profitable Passion Summit. I'm so excited to have y'all here. I'm excited to have our first guest. She is amazing, incredible woman, and she's going to blow your socks off right off from the start. So this summit is going to be all about helping each other, because I really feel like even those of us who are already building out a profitable passion project and we're already in our zone of genius, just like I think Jessica is going to share with us today to kind of kick it off, you need more than one stream in your life and of income. And I think that's always a smart thing to do. And that's what we're going to talk about today, and about how we can really build up some own autonomy and how you can have your freedom and live your life. So guys, if anyone's jumping on right now, please give us some hearts, give us some likes, let us know that you're here. I am going to glance at the group myself for just a second to make sure that I can see us, because we were a few minutes late. We had some difficulties. Yes, we are live. Okay. All right. We have a whole bunch of people on. Fantastic, guys. And you know what else I'm going to do is there are a whole bunch of other people who are wanting in. So let me get them in really fast. And while I'm doing that, Dr. Chung, tell us all about yourself. Tell us your background and who you help, who you serve, and what your kind of passion is.
Absolutely. Well, firstly, I'm excited to be on tonight. This is exciting. I love being able to share my passion with fellow nurses and nurse practitioners. I am Dr. Jessica Chung, Doctor of Nursing Practice and Family Nurse Practitioner. I own my own practice based in Tampa, Florida, where I do primary care. And then I also am the founder of the International Business Association for Nurses, where we help nursing professionals become entrepreneurs. And so that is an organization I founded almost 2 years ago, just out of my experience of starting my own practice, growing my business, and just being able to, or I should say, being wanting to be able to help other nurse practitioners and nurses start their own businesses as well. A little bit about me: born and raised in New York. I am a northern girl, city girl, living down in Florida now, where it's right now Florida is cold, so I feel like I'm back in New York. It's freezing. It's freezing down here. But I mean, yeah, I'm just happy to be here. I don't know what else
I'm super excited to have you. I'm super happy to have you. All right, sister. So what was kind of, well, okay, let me start here. What was your first job as an NP? Did you go straight into your own practice, or did you have like a transition?
No, I did work in a primary care office as my first job as a nurse practitioner. And it was I actually saw pediatrics and adults. And no, it wasn't until like maybe a couple years into, maybe about 3 years into being a nurse practitioner, that I really made a decision to open up my own practice. And during that time, I was fortunate enough to gain a lot of experience working in other offices and other settings. Probably most of my experience working for others has allowed me to work independently. So I was able to learn a lot working independently, making clinical decisions, pretty much running a clinic, as far as, having delegating tasks to medical assistants and whatnot. And so that definitely, as I can see now when I look back, that definitely prepared me and helped me to running my own business and seeing patients on my own. So now, I'm very comfortable with seeing patients, and I've always really been comfortable working independently. So that wasn't a struggle for me. But there was a lot to learn in starting my own practice that they don't teach us in school, and that even when you're working for an employer, there's but so much that you could see like going on behind the scenes. You're there to see patients and to provide care. You don't really know the business side of things. So that is something that I am passionate about teaching other healthcare professionals. Like, it's like the business side of healthcare that we should know. Whether or not you want to start your own practice, maybe that's not your thing. But I think as a practicing provider, a healthcare professional, there is definitely some knowledge that you should have in regards to, working as a healthcare professional. There's some business things that you should definitely know in healthcare.
Absolutely. So what made you kind of step out into that realization? Like, was there a breaking point for you, or was it just, I think I might try this out? Like, what made you decide that, hey, I'm going to start my own practice?
It was kind of, it was something I was really led to do. And my thing was, I didn't know how I was going to do it. I knew it was something I was going to do, but I really didn't even know where to start. I just kind of was like, okay, I'm going to start my own business, my own practice, but I really have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea. So I ended up spending a lot of time researching, and, everything in regards to starting a practice is geared towards physicians. There isn't a lot of information out there that really tells a nurse practitioner how she or he can go about owning a business. And so I pretty much had to like take information and kind of piece it together, and we all know how unhelpful board of nursings are. So
Ooh, we're getting real.
calling them was like no help. And even at that time, I had like reached out to a very few nurse practitioners in my area that had their own practice, and it was like crickets. Nobody got back to me. So I was like, okay, I'm really on my own. And so that was my experience. There wasn't just like one solid day. I was like, that's it. I'm going to start my own business. I kind of knew I would eventually do it. And I just opened myself to learn as much as I could, do as much research as possible. And it was my last job I had. I realized how much I did not want to work in that type of capacity. I wanted to be able to provide the type of patient care I wanted. And so it was when I handed in that last resignation letter, I was like, that's it. This is it. I'm going full force. And I never looked back.
I love that. I love that. So a part of what we want to share with everybody is building wealth and getting, there's always that 10K month, right? Everyone's like, that 10K month and I can survive, right? But, and we're going to talk about that because Dr. Chung has other amazing things that she's going to share with us too. But what I want to pause on and recognize and just applaud, and I think so many of us here are really that resonates with so many of us, is that the biggest part of that move was you following your heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you were like, you know what? I don't want to run patients through the mill. I don't want to, I don't want to be in a place where I don't feel like I'm working in my passion.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about, passion, right? Passion projects right now. So it wasn't even about the money. But don't you agree that the money follows whenever you follow your passion?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. When you do something you love and you are honest about it, and it truly is something that you feel connected to, opportunities will present itself. I mean, like I know it sounds cliche, but like literally opportunities will be banging down your door, and to the point where you're like, I can't handle all of this. It's, it's too much.
Yeah.
So, and like literally that, I'm experiencing that it's been a constant thing. The beginning of starting my own business, it was a learning experience. I had no idea what I was doing. I thought for sure every day I was going to quit and be like, let me just get back on the internet and find a job somewhere. So there was like maybe a good 6 months where I just was like, man, I don't know what's going to come the next day. But it really it allowed me to learn patience and perseverance, and to also develop my character as far as being an individual, a leader, a healthcare provider. And so there's a lot of things that you learn about yourself going into entrepreneurship. And with that being said, you also want to make sure that you have a goal and a plan. So have a goal and plan in place. Don't overthink things, because then you'll start to doubt yourself. And then
Mhm.
that's where you will miss
Yeah.
opportunities. So with that being said, I was, a lot of opportunities have presented itself to me that allowed me to gain significant financial gain, and be able to do so much more than I thought I could do, so much more that I imagined doing that I know I would not have been able to do in my working. So I basically just allowed myself to be able to be open-minded,
Mhm.
and connecting with the right people. And yes, the money will flow. And I know that's like a question I get a lot, especially from nurse practitioners, is, how do I support myself? How do I make sure I make enough money? Do I have to take out loans and things like that? And, everybody, the journey will look different for everyone. But I can honestly say that those who truly have their heart and passion in it never regret going into entrepreneurship. And
Mhm.
so I definitely would recommend, if anybody's thinking about it, just make sure you're connecting with the right individuals, and make sure that you set your goal and just
Mhm.
go for it.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. And I also feel like if it's in your heart, it's not something that's typically going to leave. I
Right.
personally believe that if God puts it in your heart, then it's
Yeah.
something that, as long as it's of pureness, as long as it's of something that you want to help and change other lives,
Right.
then it's not going to go away. You're going to be like me
Right.
before I decide to go for it if you don't go for it. And I was just like constantly thinking, oh my gosh, I could do this to help somebody, or I could help do this, or I could do this, or this idea, or this. Like, there's always things rolling around in my head, and it almost drove
Right.
me crazy until I started putting things down. So, one of the
Yes.
things you talked about was, or one of the things you spoke about was having a plan and sticking to it. Would you be awesome enough to share with us when you first went for it? Like the absolute, I don't know, you said, I don't know what in the world I was doing. What was your plan? Like for somebody who's starting out, they're like, okay, I want to do my own practice, but just like you, I don't know how to start. What
Right.
was that plan? I know you said you have to find somebody, right? Mentor. I think you kind of
Mentor.
mentioned about that. So I wonder if that's part of
Hmm.
your plan. I think it's part of most of our plans. Most of us, we reached out to a mentor.
Right.
So what would you say that plan is for those on right now that are wanting to do this?
So definitely you want to do your research, and that would
Hmm.
involve,
Yeah.
researching and being familiar with your state laws in regards to your practice, because I think when we're employed, we have a false assumption that, okay, well, I work for this company, God forbid something happens, I'll be covered under the company.
Hmm.
And we don't really know our scope of practice, and we're not familiar with our
Hmm.
state's the statutes and guidelines in regards to our what how we practice. So that's my first thing, is do your research. um, Research, does your state have anything that speaks on, a nurse practitioner owning a private practice? Some states do, some states don't. So that's why you want to do your research.
That's
And
good.
then you want to know, will you need a collaborative physician or a medical
Hmm.
director? Then you want to kind of research what it would cost you to start up. What are your options in starting up? Or do you want to? Can you do mobile and keep your overhead low? Can you find office space to rent? Maybe on a kind of an as needed basis. Do you want to invest in getting a full office space and utilizing it? Also, you want to market the type. I'm sorry. You want to research the market that you're going to be in.
Hmm.
Is it primary care? Is
Always
it
the first thing in
specialty? Do you
everything.
urgent care?
Hmm.
Do you want to do IV infusions? Do you
Hmm.
want to do a med spa? Do so look into, do the research of that specific market, that specific specialty,
Hmm.
and see how others are doing in that area. And then obviously you want to have a plan. One of the first things, with all of the research, one of the next first things I did was I drafted a business plan. I had no experience ever writing a business plan, but I, I said, okay, well, this is what my timeline, this is my projected timeline for when I'm going to launch. This is my projected goal as far as the number of patients I
Hmm.
want to bring into my practice. This is the estimated amount of money I think I'll need as far as startup capital, overhead expenses. You know, you want to estimate those things and really see, okay, well, how much is this going to cost you? Is this
Yeah.
something that you need to spend a little more time saving money, working on your budget? Or do you think that this is something you can launch while working part-time? And so, and definitely getting with a mentor or consultant, someone who has experience in that area.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to, I mean, you know, a lot of people say, you know, oh, they'll do the research and do it on their own. But the truth is, you need someone that's been down the road that you're going on to kind of say, hey, don't do that, try this, or
Yeah.
I tried that, it didn't work for me, go this route. And so, and that was one of the things that I didn't have. You know, I looked for mentors, couldn't find one, and so I kind of learned things as I go. But with the constant changes in healthcare, especially policies and rules and laws, you definitely want someone who's going to be able to mentor you and guide you and give you direction. And you know, and one one thing I always people always say, like, oh, you know, Dr. Chung, I want to start my practice, I can't wait to quit my job. Do not quit your job until you can supplement your income. um, you know, unless you have financial support elsewhere, that's great. But if you don't quit your job. You know, it's a sacrifice in the beginning, you know, working a job and building a business. Eventually, maybe you might be able to go down to part-time or PRN. And then eventually you can consider, you know, that last day that you'll work full-time ever again, or, you know, work for someone ever again. But do not quit your job in the beginning. Your employment is a huge factor in funding your business. That's how I see it. That's how I saw it. It's like, okay, I'm going to work. This job's going to help pay my bills and fund my business until my business can fund me. So don't quit your job. Be
Yeah.
patient.
No, I love so much
Yes.
about that. One, I love that you're saying, okay, I know it's not the perfect timing yet. It's not going to be.
Yeah.
Right? That's part of it. You're not going to be able to just quit your job. More than
No.
likely, most of us, you know what I mean? Even if you think you might be able to, whenever it comes down to it, you probably won't. So
Right.
you're never going to be ready, right? And then what was the other part? There's another part of that I was like, I absolutely loved. And guys, if this is resonating with you, let me know. And we have a few more minutes here with Dr. Chung, so don't let it waste. If you have questions, drop them down in the chat here. I can see all your messages, and I will we'll be answering them too. So if you have questions for her, you have her live right now. That's the perk of being live. So make sure you drop those questions in there. But yeah, absolutely. You're never going to be ready. So just
No.
you have to go for it.
Yeah.
And you said, you know, so part of this, so there was the startup cost, having a budget, knowing what you're going to make. What would you say? Can you give, is this a too much of a loaded question? It might be to ask, what would be a ballpark for what somebody would need to start a practice?
Yeah.
Even if, let's say they're in the scenario, like you said, they're not quitting their job yet. Oh, I remember the other thing I wanted to say too. Whenever you were saying how your income funds your business, that's exactly what I did. So whenever I graduated from nursing school and became a DNP, my mortgage got cut in half. Like I got into a smaller house because I had all my extra income, and my income went up. My income went up twice. My mortgage went down in half, so I had money to put into a business.
Got it.
Right.
Yes.
For investing, and not just for business, but for investing in general, I should say, because my business itself actually cost that much. But as far as investing goes, and being able to do that and put more in for 402b, all those kind of things.
Right.
So yeah, like think about paying yourself, right? Think about paying yourself first. I think that's a big, huge message there, and that's a freeing thing for people. Yeah.
Right.
So what would you, back to my question on that? What do you say would be ballpark? Like what?
So I would say, if you are,
or what did you do? Maybe just
Well, I'll share what I did. So I started my practice as a mobile practice. So virtually I had very, very low overhead expense. That involved, you know, I already had a car. I already owned a laptop, a cell phone. It was a matter of, you know, of course, my startup expenses, you know, registering my business, buying maybe some supplies, things that I needed to actually conduct a visit. setting up some apps and systems to kind of get things going. So, I mean, the overhead was low. I think where you're going to spend the most money is your marketing expenses. So that was where a bulk of my expenses went when I started my practice, but I didn't have office space. I didn't have to worry about paying rent. So I always recommend anyone wanting to start with a low overhead expense, consider doing mobile services. There's a lot of people that still utilize mobile services. There's a lot of people who would rather not wait in a waiting room in a doctor's office, that don't want to deal with urgent care, or definitely don't want to go to the ER, that they would just prefer to have someone come to them, or virtual care. So you could do telehealth. And again, that is a great way to cut your overhead expenses. So there's some things that, you really can't avoid as far as expenses, such as, getting a website done, spending money on marketing material, print material, business cards, things like that. So, you could probably start with as little as maybe 2,500 to 5,000. And I always recommend just kind of growing slowly. Eventually, I transitioned from mobile into a small office. So I rented an executive suite, which was like maybe 120 square feet. It was literally a one room office. I had enough space for my exam table, my desk chair, 2 chairs for patients, and my supply cabinet. And that was my office space. And that worked for a good while for me, a couple months. And as I grew and I was able to, get more opportunities, then I decided to take a leap and get a huge, office space, which I'm in now. But that was a gradual transition. That didn't happen overnight. And even, every time I took another step, it was like, oh my gosh, am I really going to do this? What, all the fears, all the doubt. So just to let everyone know, every time you take another step, more doubt, more fear comes,
Just
and you
listen,
just
it goes
gotta
away,
push
does it?
through. I was like, what if I rent this huge office and all of a sudden something's gonna happen? I'm not gonna have any work. All those things that we like to kind of go in our minds. I did that, and so
Yes.
been in the office over a year now, very much doing well there. Considering expanding to different areas, getting contracts to bring on nurse practitioners through other projects in other states that would allow them to also build their practice. And so I say all that say is that you just take your gradual steps. It is a sacrifice. So, I was seeing patients after my job on the weekends. I would, dedicate my time to seeing patients outside of my work hours eventually, and just did PRN work. So I would have more flexibility, but still be able to make income, pay bills, and take care of, business expenses. And eventually I was able to get to a place where I was able to, the business was able to sustain itself. And so you don't want to rush into that, because to be honest, it could take 2 to 3 years for a business to really take off and sustain itself, run itself. And so you want to give yourself time for it to do that before you rush in, decide that, okay, well, I'm just going to quit and do this, full time. That may, and some people are different. Some people 6 months to a year in, they can't work another job. They have to dedicate all their time to their business. I have one of my clients, she, just launched, and, she was just starting with just doing COVID testing. She tested 1,000 patients. And I'm like, by the time she turns all those patients into primary care patients, she's going to have a full patient panel in no time. So, there's different ways that you can go about kind of growing and pacing yourself.
Awesome. So yeah, we have a couple of questions. I think you answered one of them kind of indirectly. They said, so you were working full time and then starting your practice. And that's how you started, correct?
Yes.
You were seeing a few patients at a time, starting small.
Yeah, very,
and I love how
small.
you said, I just had this little room. I had one room office. That's what I used. But quality care, right? People come for quality care.
Quality care. Yeah.
They'll come for quality care.
They're not coming
especially if they're
like,
tired and they're burned out of being run through the front door at another business so much. Somebody else asked, what charting system do you use?
I love Athena. Um,
Okay.
and for anyone that's on a budget, if you want a great free EHR, you could check out One Touch EMR.
There you go,
So
guys. There's a
it's
nugget right
free
there.
and you can e-prescribe. It's great. So if you're starting out and you want to not pay for EMR, you can check out One Touch.
Awesome. Another person asked, are employees okay with NP working on their business on side when they are getting started? Oh, non-compete contracts. Okay. So the employer.
Yeah, that's a good
Basically.
question. So definitely if you are in a non-compete, if you're in any type of contract at all with your employer, I highly recommend having an attorney review that and really seeing what is it that you can. Well, you can do whatever you want, but what is it that it should not do? That's the reality is because the truth is, unfortunately, some non-competes would not be considered valid. So you might be in a non-compete that might not even uphold in your state. So I definitely recommend having an attorney review it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a really good question. Yeah. And sometimes doesn't the non-compete matter depending on the type of clientele? You're in a
Exactly.
family practice versus you're starting something a little bit different. Maybe
Right. And there's ways you can kind of work
that can be
around that.
Again, talk to lawyers. We're not telling you to do that. We're saying
definitely
talk to lawyers,
attorney.
but that might be an option for you.
Yeah. It might be all in how you market your practice. You might work for a primary care, but you might market your practice for women's wellness. So it might not even be competitive with your employer. So definitely highly recommend talking to an attorney.
Love that. Love that. Okay, so we just have a few more minutes here with Dr. Chung. So I don't see any other questions right now. I'm going to keep on scrolling and making sure I'm not missing them. But how can people reach out to you if they're like, hey, I'm wanting to do this, I want to look into this? How do they get a hold of you? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
So on all social media, Dr. Jessica Chung. You can also follow International Business Association for Nurses. That is where I offer courses, master classes, workshops, and one-on-one consulting. So if you're interested, or even if you just want to get some ideas on what direction you go, you can definitely reach out to me. And I actually have my 12-week private practice startup group program starting February 1st. That's our next enrollment. So enrollment's open now. There's a couple spots left. So if you want more information on that, please feel free. You can reach out to me on Facebook, Dr. Jessica Chung, Instagram, Dr. Jessica Chung, or my website, drjessicachung.com. And you can just get with me and I'll kind of see where you're located, what's your specialty, what's your interest. Everyone has like a certain niche. I feel like, people say, I don't know what I want to do, but everyone has something that they're passionate about. Yeah. And so I can kind of help you think about some ideas so
usually multiple passions.
Get started.
Couple more questions while we still have you on. And then we're going to start talking about 1099 with our next expert. Do you need to be a DNP to start your own practice? I know in Oklahoma you absolutely don't. Yeah, you absolutely don't. I have some colleagues that I work with, or well, they're colleagues of mine. I don't work with them, but they own their own practice. And they're not DNPs.
No. You don't.
So I don't think there's any state regulations on that. I don't think there's any really.
No, not any states I've come across. And so the DNP is a terminal degree, but as far as for practicing as a nurse practitioner, it is not needed.
No, it's your board certification. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Would you recommend a new NP start a business or get more experience?
Great question. So one of the things I wish I would have done was I wish I would have maybe started thinking about starting a business when I graduated with my master's. I think that it's okay to gain the knowledge in both areas, whether, doing it in the business, on your own business, or with an employer, because more than likely you'll probably be running your practice part-time as you're gaining experience. And, who's to say you don't gain experience in your own practice as well? I feel like, one thing about having your own practice is you kind of determine the type of patients you want to take on. So if you want to just do, simple urgent care visits, or, just simple refills, by all means, you don't have to take complex patients on where you don't feel comfortable, practicing or seeing them independently. So I don't tell new NPs that they shouldn't. What I like to say is it's based on where you're most comfortable. How comfortable do you feel practicing independently?
Yeah. And I would say that also the business side of it. So
Yeah.
when I first graduated, I was thrown out into a clinic completely by myself. I've been by myself my entire time I've been practicing. I've never practiced with somebody in office with me. And it was kind of brimstone and fire. I mean, I spent a lot of hours learning. I didn't have anyone to ask, so I had to just find it myself. It was hard. It was
Yeah.
hard. But I would say that on top of that, if you had business background already, though, if you already knew all of those things on top of it, may be doable. But
Right.
yeah, that would be a lot. But if you feel it in your heart, you know what I mean? You feel like you can practice safe, then
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. And then one more question that I almost skipped, but I did not. How would one go about finding a consultant, especially in concierge medicine?
So you can reach out to me if you are interested in concierge. My practice model is kind of a type of concierge. So I do direct primary care, and a majority of my patients pay a monthly membership. And so that's kind of, the new thing that's coming about right now, where patients, you can offer healthcare services via a monthly fee or annual membership fee. But nonetheless, if you are interested in any type of practice model, I would be happy to help anyone that is interested in starting up their practice.
Awesome. And then one more question, and then we'll have to switch speakers here. Would there be difficulty finding a collaborative physician without experience?
No, no. I within my organization, I also operate the Collaborative Physician Network. And so
Awesome.
it's like, what don't I do, right? So I actually help nurses and nurse practitioners, PAs, find collaborative physicians and medical directors. So I have come across several physicians that are totally willing to help nurses and nurse practitioners start their
Awesome.
businesses, and at least, be supportive in you starting your business. So absolutely, that is probably like the least thing that you should worry about.
Love that. Love it. We always have so many things that are like limiting beliefs, right?
Right.
We try to stop ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we find out that, hey,
Absolutely.
we can absolutely do this. Dr.
Yes.
Chung, thank you so much for being
Thank
on, girl.
you,
You
Dr.
dropped so
Lauren.
many incredible pearls here that I think that like everybody give her a shout out, guys. Say thank you, give her
Thank you,
some love.
guys. Thank you for
Reach out
asking
to her
these great
if you want to
questions.
take the plunge with her. I think she's pretty awesome. So I think you're in good hands, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome, darling. All righty. Well, we'll keep in touch. You have a good day.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. So we are going to transition here. And Alicia Quant is supposed to be on with us next. This is the first time that I've ever actually switched over on this restream. So hopefully we're going to hear from her really soon. And she will be sharing with us how to go into 1099 nurses for nursing and for APRNs, but then also for CRNAs. So it looks like she is getting on now. I'm excited to share this with you all, guys. What are you thinking so far? Give me your thoughts. Give me your love. I loved so many points on this. She made so many great things for us to really think about. We start small, right? We start before we're ready. I feel like that's always the truth. Anytime that we start anything, any kind of business that we're doing, we don't ever feel ready. And another part of that is that we go through, I think she talked about at one point, like there was a 6-month period where she thought, oh my gosh, should I do this? Can I do this? And it was like oscillating back and forth. That's so normal and natural. I feel like even after I've personally had huge successes in my business, I still revert back to, just like sometimes I'll revert back and think, oh, but X, Y, and Z happens. Maybe this isn't the right thing. And it is. If it's in your heart to do it, then it is 100% your thing. So we are going to look here down at the chat and see if, or not the chat, see if Alicia's on now. She should be jumping on soon. And I am going to mute myself for one moment so I can call her and see if she is available, guys. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We're going to learn about 1099. I'm really excited about learning about this because you can literally make more money doing exactly what you're doing right now, not changing, not changing a whole bunch, not changing your profession or anything like that, and make more money doing what you're already doing. So I'm going to just mute myself real fast, put off the camera, but y'all don't leave. I'll be right back. All right, y'all. So I am back and I figured out our issue here. She was getting on Zoom. So we are getting her logged in now and we're going to start talking about 1099s here in a minute. So she should be getting on. I finally just got a hold of her and I'm going to check out. Love it. So much information. Yes, we can do this. Yes, guys, I love that. Thank you for sharing the inspiration. We're totally in this together, right? Like I was sharing with my group before, there's so many options out there for us to be able to launch a different income and supporting each other and not being competitive and knowing that there's always plenty for everybody. There's always enough for everybody to be able to have their dreams. If there's something in your heart that you want to go for, that you want to do, I can guarantee that there is an energy out there matching that. If you have a dream or a passion or something that you are just, it aches and you just want to do it so bad, or maybe it's not even, you don't know exactly what it is yet. You just know that you are called to do more, and you are, oh, good. I think she's logging on. If you are called to do more, then there is a reciprocal energy for that for you, meaning that there's others who need you in that place. And yay, we got you on.
Hey, how y'all
Going to
doing?
love this woman. We met, it's been like, I don't know, a few weeks ago, a month ago, somewhere in there, and we just chatted and shared. And I was just talking about how there were some people blowing up in the chat about how, yes, guys, we can do this. And I'm like, yes, that's the exact energy we need.
Absolutely.
There's no competition, right? Like, we're here to support each other.
Yeah.
And there's
100%.
always more than enough in the world.
Absolutely. I mean, but that's what I even tell the people who enroll in my class. You think there's competition, but really the people who really want it are persistent, and you're going to get it. It's going to happen for you. You know, I really do believe it's a mindset. Don't you think, Lauren?
I do. I really do.
Just knowing that it's going to happen for you, you know?
Yeah. And having that belief. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why Lauren and I hit it off immediately, because we both feel very strongly that, yeah, you may not know exactly what the thing is, but you keep going after these different trains, these different thoughts until you find the one that is going to work.
Yes. So. Yeah, 100%. Right. Mm-hmm. And that is so true. You bring up a good point, because I did a handful of things that it was not in my calling at all.
Right.
But I just knew that there was something that I needed to do. I knew there was something else. And looking back now, it's always like that broken path that led you straight to where you needed to go.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, well, I had to learn that during that part of my life. I had to learn this during that part of my life. And it wasn't exactly where I was called and led to be.
Right.
But I had to go through that in order to get there.
In
but
fact,
if you
stay
in one spot,
planned it. You couldn't have planned it.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. If you stay in one spot, though, you never move.
And you kind of feel like giving up, but don't. Just keep moving. Like, you just keep pushing yourself, because you know there is that something. It's there.
Yeah.
What it is, you'll figure it out.
Yes.
You have to, in a way, you have to have faith that you're going to figure it out.
Yeah. And it takes action. It takes action, just trying things out and saying, I think this is where I need to start. Right. And then you go from there. Absolutely.
I felt 100%. Like urgency, like a feeling of urgency. I still have a feeling of urgency. Mm-hmm. I think we all have that feeling of urgency, or we wouldn't be here, honestly.
Exactly. Just like Dr. Chung and I were talking about right before you, we were like, I think all of us are like, you're going to have multiple passions, and you're going to have that feeling. And sometimes you have no idea what's supposed to fill it. You just know that it's there. So you just start going for it. 100%. So awesome, sister. Give us some background on you. So
sure.
What do you do? Who do you help?
So let me tell you. Okay. So funny thing. All right. So I'm a nurse anesthetist, and, so I go to ORs, right? And I just put people to sleep, wake them up, make them feel comfortable. If they're scared, hold their hand, all the things that we do as nurses. And, with COVID, I had some time because one of our docs got sick. So I had some time in my hands. And I also had a little, illness go on. A little sarcoma was found. And suddenly I was like, well, I've got to take care of this. And I did. I took care of it. Went to a hospital, had all that removed, went, to New York, came back, had a great outcome. And so I was sitting on the couch, and my sister and I for months had been trying to think of where we were going with our entrepreneurial mindset. Mm-hmm. And we both together wanted to do something. So for a long time, we thought we would do like a cycle bar is what we had in mind. So we looked at all of these physical locations and everything. And I thought that'd be great, but for whatever reason, I was always uncomfortable on those bikes. Then come to find out, well, I had this, baseball in my butt. But anyway, they took that bad boy out.
There's a God-led thing, right? You get to have that happen, so you can be, I guess, comfortable and find it.
So time all of a sudden, and I was like, now is the time. So it's like God handed me this time, and I just had this incredible sense of urgency. The minute that I woke up from my surgery and I found out that I almost died because I lost a lot of blood, I thought, now is my time. And I realized it's always been my time. I always thought, I had to wait until I had crossed some barrier, some path, something tremendous had to happen. But really, at that moment, I realized I always had the opportunity to do this, to make something happen, something that I really wanted to happen. I didn't want to waste any more time because I realized how precious time is. And so I just was like, I'm going to teach. I've always wanted to teach. I'm going to teach somebody something. What am I going to teach? So that was my search. And so I knew nothing about online education at that time, except that my kids as teenagers were doing the Zoom. And I was like, hey, maybe something like that. And so I went on to, but I wasn't really that clear with it. So I went on to YouTube one day, and I was pursuing the ketamine clinic theory. Everybody in nursing, we all pursue that ketamine clinic idea. Wouldn't it be nice just go do some IV infusion at our own place, little ketamine, bring somebody up, and it would be funny. They would laugh. Yeah. But anyway, so I found Jason Duprat, who is a CRNA, and he was teaching ketamine clinic. And so he was like, do a vision board and everything. So I did a vision board. That was the first thing that happened. And
so is this like an original vision board?
This is my vision board from my original vision board. And it's hard to see because I sketched it. But eventually in this corner here, I added online education. I don't know if you can see that. But anyway, I mean, among my kids going to college and all of this stuff. Okay. Want them to go to college. I have these dreams. I want to take my daughter to Paris. I want to go take my mother to Mexico. I want to do these things, right? I knew that. So all of a sudden I was like, yeah, Jason's got it. I'm going to do a ketamine clinic. But the next video was he was doing a course creator class. Took a course creator class. I highly recommend everybody take a course creator class. To me, I felt like I really think a barrier is the technology. It was nice to take a course creator class and somebody could explain Kajabi, which is my platform. And so, but as I watch it, he's like, what could you teach? Think about it while you're sitting here. This could be the most important few moments. Get rid of all of your distractions. They destroy dreams. What is it that you want to teach? What is it that you know? What is that niche? You know it, you're passionate about it, and you want to teach others about it. And all of a sudden, I realized where I was in that middle niche. And that was, I come from a family of business people. I teach people all the time how to reduce their taxation. I'm passionate about it. How to negotiate. I teach people how to stand up for themselves, how to pull their chair to the same side of the desk as the people they're negotiating for a job with, so that they can be people eye to eye, and they can do some mirroring, and they can, I teach them how to negotiate. I'm passionate about that. You can promote yourself. You're worth it. And it's up to you to promote yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you, but you can do it even when you feel like you're at the end of your rope. You can still do it. So I teach people that, and I teach people how to actually set up a business, which now that is the easy part, right? That's like, okay, yeah, do this, do that, do the other. But it gives a framework because there's fear. There's so much fear for somebody to start something new, to take the leap, just like what everybody out there is thinking, okay, to do this, how am I going to take that leap? And the best thing that I can say is that know that it's the right thing for you and your family. And then you just push ahead like a bat out of hell. You just do it. And you don't let anyone stop you. Like I explained it to my husband. I said, I know this is going to be crazy, but you're not going to be seeing me much because I am not stopping till I make this thing happen. And so that's what I did. I did it day and night. I stayed up late at night. I got up early in the morning. I had so much drive to do this. And I needed to come up with a name. I felt like if I don't have a website, I'm not valid. You know, if I knew that the Facebook group was important, some kind of social media, that's important, right? You know, setting that up, just, you know, I didn't know how, and just, you know, so, but I did bring my sister in, immediately gifted her 30% of the business just to help me dredge through the stuff. Cause sometimes don't you run into a wall, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you think, oh, I could do this, but then you're like, I'm hitting a wall. I'm stuck, you know, and that happens. You just
guys, we just heard that before. It's going to happen, right? You're going to want to feel like you want to stop.
Yeah, you're going to
But
feel
it's worth
like
it in the end, right? Can we fast forward? Is it worth it?
Oh, so worth it.
So worth it.
So worth it. Okay, so I did $500,000 worth of sales in my first year.
Woo!
Which is crazy to think of that. That's crazy to think of that.
That's awesome.
I mean, I'm bringing in $50,000 a month now. I have gone from teaching CRNAs, now I'm teaching nurse practitioners.
Yes.
But I love doing it. And I think that's why it's so good.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
I love it. I'm having fun.
And I think another part of that is that I love that I'm taking notes too. I hope y'all are all taking notes. I'm taking notes. You said it was right for you and your family. Because part of my journey, and one of these days y'all are gonna hear you're gonna hear my journey on this. Yeah. I'm gonna share it. I'm not gonna share it right now, but I will tell you that I was out of alignment with that at one point. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. But certainly, just like you said, you know, hey, hubby, I'm not going to be, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be doing something else for a minute, and having that support and keeping them in the loop, I think is important. But making sure that you stay in alignment and that you don't go too far. For me personally, pushing too hard, whenever I was out of alignment, I pushed and I hustled too hard, it kind of fell apart for me. Yeah. Now, many people staying in the hustle and the push, it works for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to find what works for you and your family and your life. So I love
it's important to, like you say, step back and look around you, because what we're really doing is living our life. And so
right now,
we have to appreciate it right now. Like the other thing is, like, our family's not going to wait. They're going to grow and go. It's time right now to take that minute, even if it's cutting into what we're doing. Yeah. I mean, I've told my enrollees, I'm like, look, it's 8:30. I can hear them clattering down there. I know what's going on. And I really do. I need to go. I want to be here with you, but I have got to do this. I've got to go be with them. And I want to, you know, I want to live that part of my life. Because in the end, that's the quality. Mm-hmm. I mean, I even got a treadmill because I have found that doing this keeps me in my chair a lot. And in different chairs, really. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that's true, right? Yeah. And you still have to keep up your health and everything. I think that's an important thing. It's kind of a side note there. But on a side note, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. To keep energetic.
Whenever people are really successful, they tend to be taking care of their health as well. Yeah, and I think that's so important. Your mental health and your physical health. Right. I went to a summit, and it was very, it was high level entrepreneurs. Yeah. And it's so funny because people always ask, what's your secret? What's your secret? You know, when the speaker comes up, what's your secret? Yeah. Almost, I would say probably 70% of them. I don't think they got together and collaborated on this. I think this is an you know what I mean? Like, this is true. They said, get in therapy. You don't think you need therapy, get in therapy, right? Take care of your mental health. Take care of your physical and your mental health. Absolutely.
100%.
Yes.
Reach out to people. That is something that I was going through at the time. You know, everybody likes to have a few drinks. It's fun. It's fun to party. You know, I've been with my husband since I was a teenager, you know, so part of our growing up thing was, let's have a drink together. Let's have another drink. You know, people who drink together stay together. That was our theory. You know? I mean, not officially, but for this, you know, I was like, I have to drink something different now. I can still drink, but I really, because it ruins me, you know, like even a little bit, and I'm white, I can't stay focused. And so I decided that was one of the things I gave up. And I'm not saying everybody has to do that. A lot of people don't even trust people who don't drink, but it's only been since August. But I'm a big water drinker. Like, I drank
Yeah.
There's this company called Seedlip that makes all of these. It tastes like gin. It tastes like this and that, but it's made from 1600s distilled botanicals. Like it's old recipes, So that's one of the things that I did. And because I really wanted to be healthier so that I could find that strength to make this happen. But to do that, I called Al-Anon, not because my husband, I was kind of embarrassed to do the AA thing. But I called them and I talked to some lady who I don't even know for like an hour and a half. And I was like, wow, that was the best thing I've ever done. And this is what I'm going to do,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
no, that's funny because another thing, this was not planned at all to speak about, but, yeah, no, I agree though. Like, I feel like once I started I've never drank very much, but I pretty much quit drinking when I became an entrepreneur because I wanted to be able to think clear and be able to run my business and those kind of things. And
exactly. So and the other thing is they say that when you move your body, you're smarter. So
it's true. Yeah.
I don't like to exercise, but I have that Just Dance thing. And I do that because dancing is fun.
There you go.
And my daughter, I can involve her with it. So we dance together. And then I got this treadmill. And so it's not that I have no excuse, but now it's convenient to make this happen. Because now I'm only working, get this, 1 day or 2 days every week or two.
Nice.
Like,
do you hear that, guys?
Can you believe that? I never thought I would be, and I was a chief anesthetist for over 10 years at the place I was working, doing the scheduling. And so I recruited a lady who was very enthusiastic about the idea, but I never was out and out about it. And I just kind of recruited somebody else to take my position and just eased out. And I know not everybody can do that, but you can set yourself up so that as you can build that distance between you and your regular job.
Oh, guys, success leaves clues, right? And this is only our second speaker, and this is the second time we've heard this, that you start small, you start where you can, and then you start moving into that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, some people say, I can't do it because I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
It's not about being ready.
No, it's not about being ready. I am you should see my slides. Okay. I've never done PowerPoint. I'm 57. Okay. I'm going to be frank and upfront with you. We didn't have PowerPoint when I was in school. We made index cards, which I still use in my index cards. I don't use this computer stuff a ton.
I like paper too. Yeah.
But so I'm doing PowerPoint, and so my PowerPoints are white. They're all different funny fonts, but I keep them really basic. I put enough on there so that people can print it out and it can kind of guide them. And I've started using check boxes so that for the important points, they'll know this is an important point. So really look at it and check it off when you've digested it,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I am not very good with taxes. Okay. I have trouble setting up my own EIN. I have trouble using LegalZoom. I have trouble setting up other people's, but I don't have trouble telling them what I know because I know this much more than they know.
Yeah.
And
that's a good point too. Yeah. No, that's a good point too. Yeah. Yeah. At least to get started and start helping those first few people. Because sometimes we think about, like, that's one thing I talk with my girls about is, we feel like in order to become an entrepreneur, in order to make a huge impact on tons of other people, we have to help like all of these people. There's millions and billions of people in the world. I've got to help like all of these people in order to be successful. And I've got to have something that resonates with tons of people. And that's so not true. Your vibe attracts your tribe. And that tribe's going to start out small. And sometimes it stays small depending on what you do. Sometimes it doesn't even really branch out to a whole bunch of people all at once, depending on how intimate you are with them, depending on like as far as your programs or how one-on-one with them they are, how high touch they are. And you don't have to. You just have to help your specific people
and just a few to begin with. I really started with 6 people for 4 months. And every time I would do a class, I would build my slides. like literally right before the class, I would take a book like this. That.
Yeah.
Okay, this book, and then I have this book, and I would pop it open to a section and be like, okay, like that. Okay, like that. Throw a few sentences on there and then preach it.
Yeah.
And they were just like, thank you,
Yeah. So many times that's one thing that'll stop people, because they say, well, you can get all this information in books or something like that. Well, guess what, guys? Most people don't really want to pick up the book.
Read books.
Or they don't know where the book is. And they want that help. They are paying for you to help them through that journey and get them results faster, get them results easier, make it more enjoyable, have that one-on-one. Like, that is so much value. And don't sell yourself short because, you can just find all the information. You can just find all the information. Well, guess what? Yeah, maybe you can.
But that's boring.
Some things are totally proprietary. But yeah, exactly. Some things it's like, yeah, you can look it up and you can teach, and you become the expert in that.
Exactly. And there is a group of people out there who want to know that thing that you're thinking about. Yeah. It's just, how do you get all those people together in a funnel?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Funnels, right? Well, I never read this book.
I haven't too. I haven't read it yet.
Never read it. I've got it. I've got Tony Robbins. I got all these books. I buy the books that talk about what I want, but I don't read them, really.
Exactly. Yeah. I try really hard, and then I actually do read a lot of books, and I have read a lot of books, but it's funny, the Expert Secrets ones I haven't. I've read some of those pages on there. So guys, for background on this, I don't know if you do your funnels and stuff too. I build my funnels. I teach my people how to build their funnels and put it on evergreen and all that. And it is. So a funnel is something that, let me just kind of break it down, because some people are in here are going to be completely brand new to entrepreneurship. They're not going to know what this is. But a funnel is, technically there's two things of a funnel. You can talk about Russell Brunstein, who is the founder of ClickFunnels, which there's other things like Sam Cart and all those other things. I use ClickFunnels, where you go to what was called a landing page. That's where somebody will opt into something. You have something for them and they're like, oh, I need to learn this. I want it. It's either free or it costs something. They buy it, and then it'll take them to another page. And it'll say, hey, based on this, you also want this. So that is a
anytime you fill out your email, your name, your first name, and your email, somebody's going to send you. And let me tell you what, I fill out those forms all the time. You know why? Because those people send me emails.
Yep.
And I read those emails. Yep. And some of them capture me. And the ones that capture me, I screenshot them, and then I copy them.
You can learn. Yeah.
And I produce them. I read.
Don't copy and paste. Don't just steal people's stuff.
No,
right?
No. But I copy the idea.
But I
copy, like there's some girl named Tanya Elise or whatever. She's an influencer. She said to buy this book by this guy who's an influencer. I bought the book. It's sitting downstairs. You know how that goes.
Audible, though. I go through a lot of Audibles. Do you go through more Audibles than you do anything else?
Miracle Morning. Okay, I do want to recommend that everybody just get the Audible of Miracle Morning. And while you're walking, if you listen to Miracle Morning, good idea. You will make time to get this done.
It's true.
You don't have to exercise for 30 minutes. You don't have to read for 30 minutes. You don't have to do anything for a long period of time. But little tiny bites teaches you how to achieve your dream in little bites.
Yeah, no, that is so true. And that's what you think about is starting off with something little. And that's why I always say start before you're ready, because it's like whenever you're actually ready, it's not going to go exactly perfectly smooth. You're going to run into things, and that's going to be discouraging for you. But if you've taken off this little chunk here and you've learned about this little thing, you've taken this little chunk off here and you've learned about this little thing, and you've done it slowly, even before you're ready. Then by the time you actually start, you have some kind of a basis, and you're already a little bit emotionally and intellectually invested in your movement.
Truth.
And then whenever you're like, oh, I didn't know this was going to be kind of this hard. I didn't realize that. I thought this was going to be a lot easier what it sounded like. you're like, oh, but I've already done so far. Okay, let's see if I can do a little bit more. And
Yeah.
then you keep on going. Or
Or
you're like,
you
I don't want to
think,
waste all
what
that time.
work?
I don't want to waste all that time. I got to make this happen now, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you
it
get
makes
that
that
urgency.
easier. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then you're like, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
Whatever it takes. Like, I'm not doing it right now, but I'm going to figure out what it is. What is my next step?
Yeah.
You know, and really, when you take a class like what Lauren teaches, she's showing you the steps that you have to go through. You do the work, it's going to happen. Period. It just takes having a mentor. And these are the words that you are going to be saying to people. You're going to be saying, you know what you need, because you'll gather your people in a Facebook group or whatever. They'll all be there. And then you'll do a live just like what we're doing. And I go on there sometimes and I'll say, I just want to take 30 seconds and tell you guys that you are so close to your dream. And all you need is a mentor. And you will have freedom, you know, but what I'm selling, you know, I'm selling optimize your tax, like get the job you want, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you just tell them you just need a mentor, and I am here to hear you. So I have a calendaring link. People, they can click it at any time. Nobody hardly does. I mean, some people do. Like every day I mentor someone for about an hour and a half. And that's fine. Yeah. I don't care. I will do it because I want them to be happy. I want them to achieve this.
Yes.
So if you go to my website, you can see they're like, I give them a Boast link. There's a website called boast.io, which is the absolute best testimonial. So when
that's learned me.
Yep. When you're at the end of your class, you give them a post-class survey that just kind of repeats your first survey. You know, like, what is the thing you're most afraid of? What is the thing that you think is standing in your way? What is the thing that is working well for you? You know, you ask them, and then you say, you know, and if you feel that things are going well, please, and if I have helped you, please help me by leaving a testimonial. And
there's a pearl, guys. That's way more of a pearl than you maybe realize if you haven't started your own business. That is step one, right? I mean, I feel like this is literally like, this is good stuff here. This seems so basic, but it's so important. You start with your small tribe, right? You start with your people. And I think that it's better. I like having small.
I like small. It's intimidating.
Because I really get to know people, and everyone has like little things. I'm like, okay, this person actually needs me to hone in more on this. So I will like tweak the training to that person. I like my small groups better. I do, because it's more intimate like that. And you can help change their lives.
Yes.
That's what you want to focus on, is changing those people's lives.
Right.
And then
their
testimony helps.
Yeah, then they're happy.
Whenever you do have a testimony and it's proven, and it also helps you to say, okay, no, I can do this. Oh my gosh,
this is what I need to be doing. Like, they'll say, well, you know what? This would have really helped me. Or like somebody said to me last week, because I do a Q&A every week. And so I've put my class on evergreen, basically. I mean, but I still do a live Q&A every week. And I let it go on till the cows come home. And then I invite a presenter every week. And then afterwards, when they leave, I do a Q&A till the cows come home. And, you know, we just break it down. But somebody said to me, you know, if you didn't have this in chapter 3 about having a health, like I have a savings account just for healthcare expenses, because it keeps me organized. And then if I spend enough money, I can use that as a tax deduction at the end of the year. Yeah. So, but it's a like personal checking. It's nothing fancy. But anyway, she was like, that would really help. And I'm like, there you go.
Yeah. And once you help people like that, it's
uplifting, isn't it?
It's more addictive than the income, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, I think
so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's what gets you like loving it.
It gives you this. Okay, what does it give us, right? The dopamine release.
Yeah, baby.
It's better than shopping.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I don't even like shopping though, so I'm not even the right person for that.
I'm not a big shopper either. But
I sometimes will get in the groove.
Car, whatever it is, you know.
Buying new cars, that you said?
Yeah, buying a new car, whatever. Which I don't recommend.
We all have those things that we do want to do, right? I feel like everything just got a little more quiet on my end. I'm gonna pull up the volume just a hair, but yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So
So
that
where do
is,
you have a chat, right? Is there a
yes.
way?
Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah. I don't know for
I've got
sure
a
if you have a chat
link.
on your side.
Here's my
Oh,
link.
we have a question. What does evergreen mean? Great, great
Okay,
question.
that is a great
Yep.
question. So, all right, so I dedicated myself for a year, and if y'all look in the chat, that's my freebie. And I'm not going to pester you, but you might annually get an email from me or something. You can unsubscribe. But anyway.
At least we're real and raw here, right? Like there's not
Yeah,
anything like
But okay, so I started my class. I had a beta class. And
and
in my
beta
beta
means
class,
it's in testing.
that was my testing class. That
Mhm.
was just to, so I went to some groups and I said, hey, I've always been a business for myself. Does anybody out here want to learn how I did it
Mhm.
and how I have achieved happiness in my workplace? Do you want to know how? If you do, just say yes. They would say yes. So then when they said yes, I had a Facebook group set up.
And this was you're teaching them for 1099, right? How to become 1099?
Yes.
Yes.
So I
Okay.
put that into the Serenade page that I'm a member of. I said, if y'all want to know how I did it, then just say yes. And so I had already set up, I used Calendly, which is
Mhm.
free for 14 days. And no, I'm sorry, Canva, excuse me. Use
Yeah, I use
Canva,
Canva too. Mhm.
make a nice backdrop, put your picture on
Mhm.
there and put your little statement. I do this really good. And I teach other people how to do it. So then I invited them to this group that looked nice. And I
Mhm.
put some plugs in there every now and then, not a lot, but they kind of started plugging themselves. And all of a sudden I had like thousands of people in this group, like literally like 2,000 people really pretty quick. And I was like, what? And so
So
I was
you're
like,
just sharing word of mouth, completely organic. Just
completely
saying,
organic.
hey, I got this group. You want to come in?
Yeah. And then I created this. I wanted to do a funnel because I felt like that was very important. And so I said, I've got this freebie, and that's what I just placed in the chat. When you click that freebie, you'll see it's like this, you think of a catchy sentence or title, the 7 things you don't have to do to be a 1099 CRNA. A lot of it, they say, usually if you say 5 or 7, an odd number of things, it could be the 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you read a few articles that are based on that premise and you'll be able to write one on whatever you want, basically. So then, and anybody will buy it because it's intriguing to them. So,
Mhm.
so all these people, they jumped into my funnel, and that meant that I had their emails and I could start advertising my classes. So I would go on live onto my own group and say, hey, I'm so glad you guys are here. And I just wanted to tell you how much happier I've been. So I said, I'm starting a beta class and I want you guys to come and be in my beta class. And I'm selling it for really cheap because you're my first students and God bless you. You're going to be a lifetime member. That's your bonus. So anyway,
exactly. Yeah.
And so they did. And so I started with 6 and I ended up with 10. And I just built every week I was going to meet them. And I was like terrified. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing, but I had made an outline. So I just followed my outline and I just started making slides to go with each piece. And I didn't do a good outline. I mean, it was an okay outline. Eventually it got better. And anyhow, but they were taking it all in and we'd have a discussion and they were having fun. And we got to be like a fun group of people looking forward to seeing each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a second beta because I still didn't feel good about myself, And so that was another small group of people, about 10. And then I was like, I'm going to do this every day of the week. I'm teaching because I need a new group every month to really make money and separate from work.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the first of the month, I would have orientation or like the first Sunday of the month. And then the next Sunday, I would have unit 1. And the latecomers, they always join in between unit 1. You can say orientation is tomorrow. And then a few people join. But then you say, we just did orientation. You just missed orientation. They're like, oh, and you're like, I know, but we're just going to start unit 1 and I can get you caught up with the you can watch. And so I would record it. And that's the beginning of Evergreen, when they are able to just watch something that you've already recorded. And eventually I taught all of my classes for a year. I started a new group every month it's a 10-week long course. So I would have overlap. So I would sometimes be running 3 groups, sometimes just 2 groups. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was crazy, you know. And then the speaker, they would all share the speaker. And then now I just cut my speaker and I kept my Q&A day. So I'm in year 2 and things are quieter. And so now I was able to take the stuff I already have and transform it for RNs, which that's not working out very well. And because it's too expensive for them, I think. And they can't wrap their head around where they're going to get work. But
the 1099 would work for them, right? You're saying like the program itself.
But they don't know it's going to work for them because it's not real common.
Ooh,
but I did it for 10
thing.
years.
If you're talking about marketing, that's a good thing, is knowing what is what is your target market's limiting beliefs.
Right.
And that's what you add into sales copy and into funnels and stuff like that.
Well, I'm creating another website now.
Yeah.
That is for 1099. It's for facilities to put their information into and for 1099s. But that is so way different that I'm going very slow with it. But I have met somebody, you know, I use that. It's not Fiverr, but the other freelancer site.
Upwork.
Yeah, I use that.
I like Upwork better too.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. And that's the other thing about this. So many great points. I'm apologetic because there's so many great points I want to like recap, make sure people hear. The last one you just said, awesome. Yeah, you hire out. So I started earning like, okay, just like when I first started, guys, it was like $200-300 a week. Oh my gosh, I had $200 extra dollars, right? I was so excited about that. First thing I did is I hired somebody to do something else for me. I started with housework. That's where I started.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do dishes.
Yeah, me too. That's an office. That's an office deduction
of this brain, right?
Like 100% office.
Yes.
Deducted.
Then I started hiring out for stuff like, you know, whenever I didn't understand funnels and stuff like that to get through humps, I'd pay somebody $50. Okay, fix this part of my funnel. Do that for me.
Me
guys,
too.
Let me, I also want to back up real fast because we have gotten this got kind of advanced, really. Like we're giving you some advanced pearls. It doesn't always have to start there. You can start with super, super, super simple links. And that was the second important part that I want everyone to hear and make sure that you're not just hearing that we're talking about evergreen and funnels and jumbo this and jumbo that, because it doesn't start there for anybody. She was talking about her first program was the slides weren't that great. It wasn't that perfect.
They're still not good. My slides are still not good.
It doesn't have to be perfect, right? And that's exactly
my slides are so messed up, y'all. Look. All right, see this? Every time I do a class, or every time I have a Q&A, people tell me problems with my slides. These are things I have not fixed.
There you go, guys. And she's making how much? $50,000 a month?
I made $500,000 last year.
So you see what I'm saying, guys?
Like, you see what a mess this is?
Yes. What is it they say that perfection is? I'm gonna.
I don't have perfection.
Somebody knows it. Drop it in the chat for me. Perfection
is boring.
It is
it's the killer.
It's the killer of your dreams.
Yes.
That's not the quote. There's an awesome quote that somebody put out there.
But I'm telling you, perfection will kill it. Don't let it be perfect. I'm telling you, this is what my class needs.
Yeah.
This is just the things that are super important that need to be fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? We're so similar. Like, look at me, and I'm like, I'm gonna transfer all this into a notebook. I'm like, I have my post-its from today.
Yeah, and I mean, I got a mask.
Stuff. Yeah,
I got a mask, y'all. But I mean, I'm okay with it. I have decided I'm okay with it's a beautiful mess, and eventually I pull up something, and it's okay. It's gonna be okay. How long did it take to develop a 10-week course? Literally, you're gonna laugh. Like, I finished my class on how to create a course, and he's no longer doing that because most people didn't. They just went and do the work with it. I don't know why, but anyway, some did. But I don't know what his teaching skills are for that, but whatever. But I do want to say that I said 10 days from the end of my class, my last class, is when I'm starting. Whether I am ready or not, 10 days. I'm like, I'm going to market. I'm going to throw myself out there. I've made my Facebook page. I've got a few people in there. And I am going to start my class whether somebody is in it or not.
Well, and I always absolutely. I always say one and it's on. Like,
Yeah, you gotta have one.
I've always lucked out, and like I say lucked out, and it's always just been the people that needed my help came to me, and we resonated together, and that I believe the Lord knew that I could help them.
Yeah.
Came to me, and there was always a handful of them. There was always just enough that like it was great for us to be able to be hands-on with them and everything, especially in the beginning. But one and it's on. If you can change one life, that brings it back to what we were talking about before, guys. Success leaves clues. When we were talking about Dr. Chung, the first thing that moved her was she didn't want to be a part of the rat race. She wanted to help and change lives. If I'm going to help and change that one person's life, that's what I'm here for. It's not about doing the math and saying, oh, I'm only going to make such and such money off of this person. You know, it's about changing those lives. And it's about you learning and growing, and you'll become better. And you know,
the money's a little nerve-wracking, tell you the honest to God truth. I know that sounds weird, but it's like,
no, that is so true. That is so true.
It's a little stressful.
I don't think that the money is what I took. Whenever you first, the first time I had like $4,800 just land in my account, I had this feeling of
responsibility,
and am I actually good enough to do this?
Oh, me too. Total imposter syndrome here.
Total imposter syndrome. Yeah, and you just. I mean, I was
every day I have that. I hate
I was terrified. I was terrified. I almost want to be like, just take it back. I take it back. I don't know if we should do this.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can really help you. I want to, but I don't know if I really can.
And it's been great, and it's been awesome. But I think both of us, the thing about it is that we are focused on changing their life.
We want it better.
And we are focused with helping those people to break through those barriers that they needed, that they came to us for, to teach them the things that you, and another thing you said, we just know like this much more. Sometimes I feel like we know this much more. We know a lot more than we think we do.
Yes.
Yeah. And then all the time, like whenever I first started, I tell my husband every time, like, oh, it kind of blows my mind that like I had so much to help them with, because I can't believe I think we underestimate ourselves.
We totally underestimate ourselves.
Because
like,
every time
I have a new group, I'm like, oh gosh, am I going to be able to do this?
Yeah.
And yet they're so excited.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Your vibe attracts your tribe. And it's absolutely. So we just have a few more minutes here with you. I want to know a little bit about what was your income shift whenever you went from being, what made that shift for you whenever you're like, okay, I'm an employee, I want to be 1099. What was that mindset shift for you? Like what happened
originally?
There? Yes.
Okay. So originally I knew that I felt like I was owned, that I was, when I tried to negotiate for more money, I really couldn't. There was too many people around me that were also W-2. I knew the only way I could ever get a raise was to leave and go to another W-2 job. And I was like, there must be a way. And I was also bored, and I felt political in there. I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to work in a variety of places and see a lot of people and do a lot of different things in my life. How am I going to do that? You know, well, if you're 1099, you can do it. Work Mondays here at that place, Fridays at that place. These people need you on Wednesdays. It just works out. And then if you need to cancel, you can work out with the jobs with the people who you're working with so that you cover each other. Yeah, you get a ton of flexibility. So, okay, somebody is asking, so it only took 10 days to develop. Okay, this is the thing. I recommend you get a bathtub.
Oh, interesting.
And a board. And then when you're in the bathtub with your phone, I'm constantly researching. I still am. I have books all over the place.
Of course.
I'll get up early in the morning and just like, I'll have a question or I'll research something. I'll be like, that needs to go in my class. I have that notes app. You know, so yeah, basically it only took, it took a frightening day because I'm a procrastinator to put it all together. And I would like go through wholly, you know what, just to get it done. And I'd be tapping at the board, you know, tapping on the keyboard with my imperfect typing and get it done like 1 minute ahead. Somebody complained she's always 5 minutes late. And it was true initially because I was just trying to get those last few slides together. And, sometimes I'd be Googling at the very last thing. I don't really know about STEP IRAs. I don't really know about individual 401ks. It doesn't matter. Just get something on the slide and say, you know what? This is not what I'm excellent at knowing, but I'm learning, and I'm going to be teaching you so if anybody has a question, we're going to get a speaker in. And that's how I grew all my speakers. I got CPAs, one after the other, financial advisors, health insurance, questions I couldn't answer. You don't have to know it all. Invite the speakers and then do like what we're doing here. So much fun.
Yeah. This is actually my first time to invite other speakers. It is so much fun, though.
It is
I
so
do.
much fun.
I 100% recommend it. I absolutely do.
I think it should be a part of everybody's class.
Yes. Right. Yes. On the 10 weeks. So, and this is one way, guys, that there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? It's going to work out for whoever it is that works out for those people. The way that I built my first program, I built it out as I went. So I sold it first and then I built it as I went.
That's what I did.
And and it was just literally as I went, and it was already like, it wasn't like I had to like prepare a whole bunch and then get it all done. And then now that it's all done, now I launch it to the world.
Most people fail that way.
Yes. Thank you. That
is a bad way to do it.
About lost my backdrop.
You're right.
I lost my backdrop here. So I need to simmer it down.
No, I love what you're doing. And I love your backdrop.
Well, thank you.
I love it. It's sequins, isn't it?
It is.
It's absolutely perfect. It looks great with you. It brings the sparkle in your eye. It makes you pop.
Thank you. No, I love your brick. I love your brick background too.
Thanks.
I love it.
This is my bedroom. But
there you go. Back scenes, guys. Like we told you, we're gonna be real raw with you.
And this is so funny. This is a broken table from the backyard that was I was using it as a potting table for a while, and like I spray painted something blue on it, and I was like, well, that would be interesting.
I love that. That'd be interesting. I love it. I see. We play in the playground of imperfection.
Creativity.
Yeah. Absolutely. Go back to being a little kid. I look at my son all the time, and I think, and there's scripture. I'm sorry, guys. I know I always go back to scripture and God and stuff. That's my belief. I'm not trying to shove it on anyone. But
you're good. I like that.
But they say to be Jesus teaches us to be like children, right? To think like a child, to be like a child, and they will enter into the kingdom easier. And I'm not quoting that scripture perfectly, but
no, but
I think about my son, and he looks at this art or something, like we'll be coloring with him, and I'm like, I'm not good at coloring, guys, and he'll be like, oh mom, that's so good. And I think, look at life through the lens of a child and find the beauty in things. And be able to just grow through things and develop it and make it better. And it's not that, and we're not trying to say that, oh, you just put out shoddy work to people. That's not at all what we're saying. You're not giving shoddy work to your clients, and you're giving them good quality stuff. But don't let that perfectionism stop you.
Right. Yeah. Like this was a $20 thing, like $19. This was free. There's some shells. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, you don't have to be perfect. Like you see a lot of these influencers, and they have these perfect backdrops that are just $1 million backdrops.
Yeah. And they do cost a lot of money.
And nobody cares about it. They want you. They want that time with you. And it's worth taking the time for them. Like right now, I just started having registered nurses sign up. Like just 4 days ago, my first registered nurse. And I'm terrified. Yay! I'm thrilled, but I'm like terrified. Like, am I going to do what needs to be done to help?
And you will.
I know I will.
Of course. Yeah, of course you will. Absolutely.
But it's like,
So, if somebody wants to think about doing 1099 and transitioning to that, is that the link? Is that the link that they need right there, the one you dropped?
Yeah, and I've changed that for RNs, and it's now nurse practitioners and PAs. I have 3 nurse practitioners. I just started the same course because it is a great course. It turned out that it was really effective.
Mm-hmm.
And it did change people's lives. People were saying, my children thank you, and I thank you.
Oh,
And I'm like,
isn't that the
wow.
best?
I know, it's
That's the best.
so
Yeah. You gave my family the freedom. Yes.
right.
I know. Mm-hmm.
So nice. So
Yes.
we have pearls we can give to other people. Whatever you have found that works for you, that you're like, this has made all the difference for me. That's what you teach.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. And sometimes your hardest things that you went through can be like, that was actually a gift to you, because
Yeah.
you learned, because of what you learned from it, you can help other people through it as well.
Absolutely. Like I could make a
Yeah.
course about some things I've been through with my teenage daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee people are searching for the answer.
Yes. Yeah, that's actually one of the things that I've researched, and it actually has pretty low. So the guys, this is getting high level again, but it actually has pretty low competition with it and pretty high search volume. So yeah, that's really actually a pretty good
anything you've ever struggled with, other people are struggling with that. We feel like we have blinders that our life, what it is, that we're the only ones that are having this.
Yeah.
But we're not the only ones that are having this.
No.
Everybody's having this.
No, as a matter of fact, like one of the things on social is you can be over vulnerable on social media. But one of the things on social is that, the posts that go viral and stuff like that, they're like, oh my gosh, me too. People say, oh my gosh, me too. And it's because everyone else is like, I'm not talking about it. This isn't happening for me. Like that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in my family. And then somebody finally says, blah, this happened and it sucked, but I'm owning it. I'm changing it. I'm overcoming it. I'm whatever it is. And other people say, oh, me too. Thank you so much. You
and
just
they get so excited. Now you've connected. And then you fixed it. You not fixed it, but you've addressed it. You brought it out and it's all good. It's like the way that I figured out what I wanted to teach. One of the ways is, for years, I was answering people's questions about business that were healthcare providers, that were my peeps. I was just, they didn't know. I was like, how could you, like, these people really don't know this stuff. And I was like, hey, these people don't, I teach that. Because he said, think of something that you already teach, like that you teach all the time. Anything that is your mantra, your thing that you find that you're saying over and over, that's what you need to. You don't know much about it. You want to know more. You're going to learn more, because when you go to prepare, like your beta webinar, which is going to be the first step where you find like-minded people, and then you like put on a live and you say, this is that thing that I'm passionate about. And if you take just a few minutes and don't do anything else, give me your attention. I'm going to tell you why I'm passionate about it. You're not going into all the nitty gritty about this is, you do this and then you do that. You're not, no, you're just talking about passion. And then at that point, they're passionate about it, the people you've connected with. And then you say, and at the end of that beta webinar, you say, and I am offering a course to give you guidance on this, so we can talk about it. And we're going to take you from this point to that point. And you make them think that you are the train that they've got to hop on to get to that place. Yeah. And without you, you could do it, but some people lose their way. This is a shortcut.
Exactly. Yeah. No, 100%. That's something else. That I always talk to my girls about. And I say girls, I don't just help girls, but I have all women in my group right now.
That's okay.
In my groups. But yeah, no, absolutely. Like, just think about the hardest thing you went through in your life. And if somebody could have said, hey, somebody could have showed up in your life and said, this is about to get, that's about to get ugly, right? It's about it. And somebody says, I have an answer for that problem. Would you just go through the trenches and try to figure it out yourself? No, you'd be like, I'm going to take that shortcut.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're the person offering that for somebody else, for them to have that shortcut to get back onto life, nobody wants to sit in those valleys forever.
No.
We want to keep life moving and going and growing and being happy and healthy. And if I can help you with that.
Right. And it's not always easy to teach it. Like, I know that the people who I'm teaching want to understand tax organization. Okay, I figured out a way to help them with that. I had to watch like dozens of YouTube videos to find
Yeah.
this one way that is an easy way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like genius.
And now
so
your way, because you weren't some kind of tax expert, because you weren't that person, you didn't have that brain, the way that you translated it and figured it out works for other people. And they say, oh, I get that now. I get that now. Because I'm not a tax person. I'm a medical professional.
Right. And I searched
And
through
you're
all
like,
these
oh,
groups
I get it now.
and
Yeah,
I'm
they
like,
get it now. That's how they get their results.
boom.
Yes, absolutely. So guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you for
It
coming
has.
live today. This was so much fun. Definitely not the last time that we are going to be collaborating.
I know. We always have such a good time.
We do.
I feel like I've just spent the whole afternoon on the beach with you. I really do.
Girl, I know. You live by the beach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think, which beach? Is it Florida or is it California?
No, Savannah
Oh,
Beach, Tybee Island, Georgia, the coast of Georgia.
I was way off. I remember
I lived on a sailboat for 22 years, you know.
You lived on a sailboat?
I lived on a sailboat, and I had my children on a sailboat in Palm Beach, Florida.
Wow.
And then we sailed home because my husband's parents said that they would babysit for us on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and they didn't. But anyway.
Just kidding.
We're back.
Just kidding.
I know.
That is so cool, though. It doesn't surprise me. You just have such an adventurous heart. But guys,
that's why we're all together. All of these people here are adventurers.
100%.
Or they would not be here. So we are with our kind right now.
Yeah, so true. So true. And that's such a great feeling. And I mean, I think it's a pretty cool thing to be like somebody who always wants to grow. Like the people who are here, they already have a background in something that a lot of people would look up to and say, oh, I just wish I could do that. Right. And we're here, we're like, but I also can do this. I also have passion for this. And that is just, it's something that's innate in you. It is never going to go away. You're going to just have to like grab it by the horns and go for it at some point in time and follow that passion. Yep. And if your passion, if you are wanting to, if you're wanting to change your income into 1099, though, this is your girl right here. And she's going to get you there. She's going to save you that money on the taxes.
Oh, yeah. And I teach negotiation, though.
And negotiation.
That is negotiation.
That is so important. I wish we are totally out of time. I wish we had more time for this. Maybe we'll have to bring you back or something.
Yeah.
But
I'd be glad to be a speaker.
Negotiation is negotiation is, I think, so important, especially for nurse practitioners, because we can and anesthetist, because we step into this role with sometimes some negative energy. Oh, you're not as good, or you're not. So then we fall back to that, and we don't ask for anything more. Or we don't even try to negotiate.
70% of all the people in the world have never negotiated.
Wow.
People say, this is how much this job pays. And people go, okay, no, that is not a negotiation.
No. And there's always so many things you can negotiate as well.
Oh my God.
So, right. I mean, it's not even just your
when
salary.
they come up with that number, that means nothing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I teach that. And if you really want to see that, I've got a YouTube channel now. I mean, I actually just have been playing around with it, and I named it and everything.
Yeah, so. I'll subscribe for sure.
Yeah.
What is it? What's your YouTube?
It's Alicia Quanti.
Okay.
I kept it very simple. But
awesome.
But if you look on there, there's the longest video on there, which is also the earliest. At the end, I put one of my units, the unit that is on negotiation. I put about a third of that unit on there because I want whoever wants to watch that to the end, they're going to learn how to negotiate.
Love it.
So check it out.
And anybody can do it, right?
Anybody can do it.
Yeah, if you want it and you'll work for it, it will work for you.
It's going to be yours.
Yes.
I'm so excited for y'all. I want to hear y'all's stories too. So
that is a really great thing. Yeah, let's go ahead. I'll make a post for the group on this.
Yeah.
And that's my challenge to y'all.
How do I see your post? Where is it? What I'm missing something.
I probably need to add you, or you need to add to the group. I'll add you. I'll send you an invite to it.
I might be overwhelmed and I missed it. You probably did.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. We'll have, and guys, we still have lives going on in the background, right? We still have like tons of things going on.
So much.
Yeah, you just balance and you smile and you go and you grow and you think this is opportunity. It's not opposition. It's opportunity for me to grow. Every
That's
time
right.
steps up.
Just get on that
crazy for it.
river and flow with it.
Exactly. So
Do it.
I love that. Let's do that at the end here. This is what we call a call to action, y'all.
Yeah.
And
Make it
I'm
happen.
calling y'all to action in that post. What is it that's on your heart? Whose lives are you wanting to change? And what are you committing to doing it? What are you committing to saying, I am going to do this?
I'm
This
going
has
to do
been
it.
laid on my heart forever.
Yeah.
I want to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to own this. I'm going to negotiate that job. I'm going to start that evergreen system. I'm going to start that practice. I'm going to do whatever it is that it's in your heart. Y'all post it up in the group. Let's support each other, and let's make this a super fun week. Super fun and inspirational.
Draw a sketch of it and take a picture of it and put it on the comments.
Yes. Yeah. Start with that vision board too. Yeah. I did my vision board on Canva. I just copied and pasted mine. I was a little bit lazier than
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I want to see that. Is that on
even
your...
Canva has, I think it even has some templates there. I think if you put on their vision board.
Is your vision board posted on your group?
No, it's not. And I don't even know if I could, no, I can find it pretty easily.
There is a new app, y'all, that is something like called Vision It or something like that. If you Google vision board app. And one of my students, actually, she took what I said, of course, and went a step further. And it's in these little sheets of paper here. But anyway, she said it's so great. So, yeah.
Awesome. No, yeah, you do need a vision board to help keep yourself focused.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Thank you for
y'all.
jumping on. This has been great. We're going to see everyone back here tomorrow at 5:15 and 5:15 p.m. Central. I always have to remember to add in the time zones.
Good idea.
All over the world here.
That's
yeah.
I love it. I'll be here. 5:15
I love
Central.
it. Yes, ma'am. All righty.
Is this the same place? We're going to come to the same link?
No, you'll have a different link than what. So you just got the link to be a part of the live. So
how do
I'll send you the link.
Okay, thanks.
We'll get you in there, sister.
Thank you.
We'll get you in. All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. You're welcome. Do it. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You're welcome.